What a nice talk we've had with Baba, as we fondly call him around here, and transitioning back to some memorable moments. To those who attended, I say memorable because it was quite an honor and pride to host the Rotary UN Day 2018 in Africa, because traditionally, as you heard, the meetings had only taken place in New York and Geneva. And one of the things that, where did this dream come from? Brings memories of the late Rotary International President-elect, Sam Owori from Uganda, who was going to be Rotary International President, and passed away just before he took over the office of President-elect. It was his dream to have this day come to Africa. And when we were asked to host this event, I remember one evening with now PDG Joe Otin and Summit Esfae in Ethiopia, when Jane Lawiki and our former Dean Ed Futa asked us or gave us that vision, we thought it would be a good way to honor him. And so President Barry Racine took this idea up very well, and he came for an initial visit in February 2018 and started the ball rolling and gave his blessings. The best part of this was working with the youth, getting the Rotaractors. I remember Sam Karanja, who was then country chair, coming in as district representative for Rotary, mobilizing all the young people and bringing about youth, because the theme was about the youth. I have never seen such great teamwork and such joy. Of course, Rotary Club of Nairobi stepped up. They had, they took up various roles, leadership roles. Most of the committees had somebody from this great club. We had people from the district, from other clubs as well. And I think I cannot do justice. I know you've watched one clip, but I just want to talk through some of the activities, some of the events that took place. So I think I'm still co-host. So if you allow me, I just share. I'll share the events. My screen still tells me that I should be admitting people, but I think I've upgraded now to a presenter. So this, are we, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
You can, okay. Let me just get it into this mode. Right, so that was this is the best picture. It actually was on the cover for quite a while. And what this says is we had over 50% of the participants in this were below the age of 35. So we lived to the expectation that this was a youth event. And you can see the joy there of our youth with the theme Youth Innovation, Crafting Solutions for Emerging Challenges. Not a very clear picture, but this is how President Barry and his spouse Esther arrived into the meeting arena at the UN, escorted by Maasai dancers. They did us proud. It was such a nice dance, walking up that aisle to take our seats. So we arrived in there that morning, all dressed up and dancing to the Maasai beats. Some of the key speakers at the top there, we have Madam Hannah Tete, who was then the Director General of the UN. We also have Eric Schoen, who was then Director General at United Nations Environment, and of course our very own President Barry Racine, who were among the key speakers in that event. This was a very nice event that took place, virtual reality, and people had an opportunity to go in there and have a ride. I'd call it a ride because there are quite a number. Those of you who are in the space of virtual reality, you'll know how this feels, and they were able to get entertained as they learned. A few more speakers. We have our own Mama Hurricane, PDG Gita, and we also have Emmanuel from Uganda, PDG Emmanuel from Uganda, and a host of other Rotary dignitaries. We have then President, Rotary International President nominee Sushil Gupta. Now, these are some of the statistics that we saw. If I can get back to that. Some of the statistics, the people who attended, again, the aspect of 50% being below the age of 35. Countries represented were 20. We had about 21% being non-Rotarians. But the best part was the reach, the social media reach. That is not a mistake. We had the whole 10 million hits. This is a proud moment for me and my team. And anybody who participated then, Rotary Club of Nairobi, the Sergeant at Arms team led by Gideon Akwabi, you did, and your army, beautiful army, you will see them shortly. This is a moment we should take pride in. This is how it looked on that day. We had about 40 speakers. You wouldn't believe it, looking at this, one day from between 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., broken down into 6 groups, 6 plenary groups, and 6 syndicate and a couple of other plenary teams. But this is a moment of pride that Rotary UN Day was held in Nairobi, and that's how it looks. So when we say we were a full house, we indeed were a full house. These are the topics that the syndicate groups were discussing: technology and its impact on decision making, intergenerational mentoring, knowledge transfer in the digital age, concerns of today's young leaders, innovation in learning, education fast forward. So, and this was the rating. 84% were pleased, 15% neutral, and a very small percent negligible, displeased. How did people know about this? Those about promotional emails, word of mouth. Some of this I could skip, but this is about how people got to know about this meeting. People we should recognize, especially since one of our Rotary members now is a Rotary International representative for UNICEF, that is Ambassador Josephine Ojiambo. UNICEF sponsored our Innovation Hub, and we had great presentations from the schools. Our interactors came through, and we had a corridor of innovations. The exhibitors were people under the age of 25. So you can see truly this was a youth activity. And people said they learned quite a bit. Each Rotary UN Day has a list of honorees, and these were the 6 that came up, that was selected. Here they are posing with President Barry Racine. These are our Sergeant at Arms, beautiful outfit, safari, and they were able to guide us through, navigate the UN space and through the many meeting rooms and the agenda for the day. These are some of the feedback, the summary, the Facebook, the hashtags, and Twitter activities that were there. This is, again, the engagement, which, as I say, gave us quite a great presence that day. These are the statistics again. Barry Racine, Michelle Berg, and of course our own Summit Aspire. And those who don't know Patience Asimo, she talks about polio. And my co-chair, PDG now, Joe Otin. So these are some of the pictures that we are able to share on this great day. Some comments which really warm our hearts. And there is a small clip here, but I think we will not watch that. I can post it later. So I think I can stop sharing now.
Yes.
I think President Ritesh, have I stopped sharing? No. Let me get out of this. I think President Ritesh and a couple of others who were who are also on this, Ambassador Josephine, maybe there are some things you'd like to comment on this. We can take your comments as I stop the share now, because it was a great team. So maybe we can hear from some of the people who participated, what their experiences were, what is most memorable. But I'd just like to thank everybody who participated in this great event. Thank you very much, and I'd like to hear from you now.
Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Sally. And I think it would be good to hear from Ambassador Dr. Josephine. And thereafter, I can share with you my thoughts.
Thank you very much, President Ritesh, and past President Sally Gitoho, and colleague, Rotary International Representative to UNESCO. I want to say that it's important that we also acknowledge Sally's own investment in making the Rotary Day at the UN work. Sally convened several meetings, not just on the Saturday morning when we all met as a whole working team, but the subcommittees going to site to ensure that the logistics were in place, and also holding hands with all of us, Rotarians, Rotaractors, Interactors, and others, to make sure our spirits were not only held up, but that we got to the end as a team. Thank you, Sally. Sally hosted us at her home on the conclusion of the event, and we kept her family and the home busy until the wee hours of the morning. Such was Sally's leadership. Transformational, warm, friendly, and yet able to achieve on time. Thank you so much, Sally. I also want to speak a little bit about what I know about the whole event. I learned of the event when still in London, and coming home from being abroad, I was happy that Rotary International keyed me into this activity. That is a testament to the fact that the work that you did together with Joe Otin was well acknowledged by Rotary International and by Rotary clubs outside of Kenya. And so some Rotarians from the Rotary Club of Westminster West participated, including late Girish Rawal in the Rotary Day at the UN. I also want to say that behind the scenes, I worked with others, including Susan Olo Oruya, to usher guests through the airport, and we were busy, supported by Rotaractors, on a schedule which went into the night. I want to also say that there were some incidents that we look back on and we sigh with relief. One was that we had a refugee, a young gentleman, join us from Uganda, who wasn't allowed to enter and actually was going to be returned, to enter Kenya, was going to be returned at the airport. And we had to put into high gear a lot of shuttle diplomacy with the Department of Immigration to have him participate. And wasn't that important? He won an award. The Rotary Day at the UN recognized the efforts of Rotaractors, and he was one who won an award amongst other Rotaractors globally. Sadly, that must have changed his life. I just want to thank you for allowing us a few minutes to reflect on what was an amazing event. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, President Ritesh. Hello, President Ritesh. This is Anuja.
Yes.
I just wanted to give you some feedback on my experience at the event. I had been a member of Rotary for about 6 to 8 months, I can't remember. And so it was such an incredible eye-opener for me as a new member at the scale and the international fellowship and togetherness and family of Rotary. That was a wonderful thing. And my hats off to Dr. Gitoho and past DG Joe team on bringing off such an incredibly beautiful event. It was so well organized and it was incredible. And the best thing for me then was not just the inspirational speakers, but when I went into plenary, and particularly young people, to hear the openness with which they, and frankness and the incredible articulation was just an eye-opener. And I thanked my stars that I had returned to Kenya and that I was a Rotarian. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. President Ritesh, maybe, thank you, Anuja. Maybe I can just add, why are we mentioning these today after such a great speaker.
Yes.
And I want to thank President Ritesh for allowing these few moments, because it is exactly 2 years since we had this. Rotary UN Day 2018 was on 10th November. And I thank you, President Ritesh, for just giving us these few moments. And I come back to thank our co-sponsors, of course, our anchor, Safaricom, and the Standard Group. Thank you so much for the publicity you gave us. There are so many others that were present. And it just, I thought it was important to raise that point, because some may be wondering, why now? Why not any other time? But November is the month we celebrate Rotary UN Day. Thank you.
I would like to share a bit about my experience, since honestly speaking, I think I would mention that to be my Rotary highlight before presidency. Of course, presidency is the biggest highlight one can get, but Rotary Day at UN, for you to actually put me on your team, is an incredible highlight. And I will share some very interesting things, like the weekly meetings we used to have at 8 a.m. in the morning on Saturdays. There was so much going on behind the scenes and the build up to the event. And hats off to you, and hats off to PDG Jootin for so calmly managing and organizing and coordinating the amount of planning which went into it on your end. If we were panicking, we used to look at you and say, okay, if our chairs are handling so much behind the scenes and yet they're not looking panicked, so we should be calm, But having said that, I was very glad. We managed for that event to have Nation Media Group with us, Standard Group with us, South Africa Broadcast Corporation with us, Asian Weekly, People Daily. It was incredible. And at the same time, it's truly amazing, isn't it, how this international event finally came to Kenya. And that is probably the biggest highlight. That was one thing which we were really marketing, that come and see Kenya in a way. It's like we are marketing on the level of tourism, really, that this is what we have to offer. And I think it worked on many levels. I remember on the actual day, walking in to UN and seeing all these Rotarians from all over. It was better attended than even a district conference, I believe. And DGN Azam was there with the whole delegation from Ethiopia, feeling excited and enthusiastic. Incredible memories. And thank you for this opportunity, Dr. Sally.
Maybe DGN Azam can, I think she's still on the call, maybe she can take the opportunity to tell us her experience. Okay, maybe she has left. Do we have a Rotaract? I know we had quite a number. Frederick Oburu, were you present then? Any Rotaractor who would like to share? Somebody online? Okay, I need to take a check. Am I still on the call? Sometimes you're out. Am I still on the call?
Dr. Sally, I would request you, there was someone who worked with you closely on the team, and I can imagine she must have been working around the clock 24 hours.
Yes, yes. Irina, where are you? Irina, this was they say right hand. She did all the logistics, getting you all registered, getting all. Irina, please come in. Okay. Irina, we would like to hear from you. Don't worry, you don't have to switch on your camera, but we have to hear you.
Okay, I think maybe she's having connectivity issues, but Dr. Sally, you know, there's something very important which you are now doing in a Rotary capacity, whilst Irina joins us. You are now representing Rotary at UNESCO.
Yes.
And it's very interesting that you have served as a Rotary representative to UN Habitat for a prolonged duration. And did that experience, does it come in handy now that you are Rotary representative to UNESCO? Could you share with us more about this new role and how to link it with the past role?
Okay, yes. The question about especially how one becomes a Rotary representative to any of the UN or government agencies keeps coming up. Maybe one thing I can say is for these roles, you're appointed by the Rotary International President, of course, on recommendation from your country and your district. And I was appointed by past Rotary International President Ravi. He is the president that appointed me to the role of UN Habitat. And I think in my role of UN Habitat, I'm glad that that was the time we had the Rotary UN Day, because what happens is these roles, maybe I can tell you what are our goals or what are the expectations. When you're appointed to an agency, you are expected to have a relationship, to represent Rotary in that agency, and you are to share the goals and bring out the similarities between the agency you're appointed to, get the information and attend their functions, discuss potential areas of collaboration as you foster global harmony. So my current role from July 2020, I'm now the Rotary representative to UNESCO. And I have already presented my credentials and we've had a joint meeting with the team, of course, online. We are looking forward to partner in any of our 6+1 areas of focus. Of course, the one is environment. I'm not yet sure we call them 7. I keep calling it 6+1, but yes, our 7 areas of focus. So at this moment, I cannot, not much has been done. We'll be having an event in December, which will be online, but basically the role is to represent Rotary. So in this case, when I look at UNESCO, I see a couple of common areas of focus. They have environment, they have literacy, they have culture of peace. So we look for a program that the two parties, Rotary and UNESCO, can partner. And definitely I'll be coming back to you all to see how we can work together and realize this agenda. So thank you, President Ritesh.
Thank you, Dr. Sally. And I would also like to recognize that our very own Ambassador, Dr. Josephine Ojambo, is Rotary representative to UNICEF. And it's a great honor and privilege to have such powerful members within the club who are representing at the highest circles of Rotary. And it shows how dedicated our members are. And it speaks a lot about our membership as Rotary Club of Nairobi, which makes me elated, honestly. So I'd like Ambassador Dr. Josephine to kindly share with us about her very important role as a Rotary representative to UNICEF.
Thank you very much, President Ritesh. PDG Sally, who is also our Rotary International representative to UNESCO, Rotarians, Rotaractors, and guests. I will just build on what Sally has said and take it down a lane towards UNICEF. As Sally has shared, the appointment is made by the Rotary International President, and therefore I was appointed by the outgoing Rotary International President. And on appointment, we are actually taken to Chicago for an induction training where we learn all about the RI headquarters and the various programs that the Rotary International headquarters has to offer that link back towards our thematic area. I am Rotary International's representative to UNICEF and to the United Nations Office, Nairobi in general. And it has been a very, very interesting engagement. After presenting my papers, the UNICEF country representative set in place a team to begin to engage immediately on the issues of ending violence against children. And there was an activity with the Ministry of Home Affairs Children's Department, where UNICEF launched a campaign called Spot It, Stop It. Beyond that, then the UNICEF country officers also engaged on the issues of the safe return to schools in the lifting of the COVID-19 regulations. And Rotary clubs, indeed, countrywide, are already at local levels engaging with schools that they affiliate with. And through the support from UNICEF, we as Rotary, members of the Rotary clubs across Kenya, will have support for 10 counties where we can support Rotary clubs to support their schools to return back safely. This program is a program that will be multi-sector and bring on board partners. And all of us on the call are asked to please participate. We will be having a little sensitization on Saturday this week, and I'm sure it will be up on the various chats. If you're interested, please come on board and listen to how you can play a role. Beyond that, the last program that UNICEF has put in place is called Gen U, Generation Unlimited. And this was actually on a national platform. UNICEF is supporting the putting in place of IT and technology for young people in schools across the country. And we will speak more about that going forward. Thank you very much, President Ritesh. And before I go, I just want to ask Sally. Sally, we have on call Mr. Isaac Gitoho. He is actually our district representative for international services, and I think he's a very special partner to you. I'd like to ask him to also reflect on not only what it means to support or have supported you on the Rotary Day at the UN, but to tell us a little bit about the district and its role with international partners. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. That's indeed a very good question, Ambassador Dr. Josephine. So, Past President Isaac, Dr. Sally.
Oh dear. Okay. Let me see if I can get him. He's on his call.
And isn't it truly amazing to have such powerful Rotarians in the family? It's like a Rotary family, isn't it?
Let's see. He's still. We are sitting in different locations, working from home, trying to keep the balance. It is interesting when you're in Rotary, even more interesting in different clubs, because that enables you to have more friends and have more projects that you can work in. It definitely would be interesting to hear about this role. Yes, Josephine, we call him the disc, but it would have been really nice to hear from him what the disc is all about. I think he'll be joining shortly, but maybe we can take another point as we wait for him to come on the call.
Whilst we wait, I think I would like to say that we have many members on this chat today with us who have also attended the Rotary Day at UN. And I'm glad that Anuja shared her experience with us. And I think Country Chair Salome, if you could kindly unmute and share with us your experience of Rotary Day at UN, which took place 2 years ago.
Thank you, President Ritesh. Good afternoon, everybody. Well, for me, I always look up to Rotary Club of Nairobi, one of the clubs I normally benchmark myself as an individual to be a Rotarian like many of the Rotarians in this club. Then even when I'm talking to other clubs, I usually give Rotary Club of Nairobi as an example. So I've had a good experience for quite a while. Dr. Sally, PDG Joe, the Rotary UN Day was phenomenal. On another note, Dr. Jambo, we work together a lot, doing amazing work in the district as an RI representative to UNICEF. So for me, I appreciate the leadership that comes from Rotary Club of Nairobi. Like I always say, you lead by example, trailblazing. You have not let us down, being the first club in Kenya, still keeping that flag strong. I appreciate the past president's past leadership, and Ritesh, young president, doing a fantastic job, and keep it up. Thank you.
My goodness, thank you so much, Country Chair Salome. We are truly grateful for your wonderful encouragement and your support. Thank you so much. And with this, I will request Dr. Sally Gitoho to tell us if our disc is going to be joining.
Actually, I'm looking at the participants list, and I think, oh yeah, he still is on the call. I may physically have to walk down and just get him to come over.
So in the meantime, could we please have Ambassador Josephine, if we can have the London Political Summit representative share with us some pointers?
The London Political Summit is a think tank group based out of London that works closely with the Westminster parliamentary process, but actually focuses on internationalism and international development and social politics in Africa. They are represented by Godson Azu from London. And Godson, would you just say a word about what the London Political Summit does in Africa and its recent activities? To share with the Rotary clubs on the call. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's my great pleasure this morning to join you, the Rotary Club in Nairobi and Kenya and the entire East of Africa. I want to also use the opportunity to thank Ambassador Dr. Josephine Ojambo, who is our global ambassador for the London Political Summit and Awards. It was a great pleasure also listening to His Excellency Right Honorable Riley Odinga earlier on the early part of your program this morning. And I could still see the Pan-Africanist configuration in all his face and his speech, which goes on to show that Africa still has a standing leader with a very strong African root and belief in the sanity of strong democratic leadership in Africa. And I believe Kenya is about to have a new dawn in its democratic and political face in the coming years. It's my great pleasure. The London Political Summit and Award is a think tank body of various personalities from various African countries and also in the UK here, key parliamentarians and other strong democratic and political institutions and universities that are partnering with us to think around the issues surrounding democratic peace and good governance in many African and Commonwealth nations around the world. We could all be aware of the emerging scenarios around the world with the reinventions of political order, not just in Africa, but also around Europe, where many countries now are now looking at the future and looking at the AI level of development and bringing that into political play across Europe and around the world also. And as such, Africa cannot be left behind. And so we at the London Political Summit are here to bring together people that will share the modern day political and democratic ideas that will help us engineer our society for the 21st century, and also to ensure that politics is used to drive a better economy for human development and societal stability, and as such, drive away poverty, reduce ill-health and maternity rates across many African countries. And I appreciate the fact that the Rotary Club has been there for a long time, helping to ensure that there is some stability in terms of the relationship between governance and the citizens, and ensuring that citizens are well carried along in most society. I really appreciate what Rotary Club is doing. I was once a Rotarian when I was in secondary school, but somehow I lost my track and I've never really gone into that for a very long time. But I hope with the mentorship of Ambassador Jambo, some of us who have lost our Rotarian track, we trace our track into the club again. I'm a Nigerian and also based here in the UK. I want to wish you all the best, and we look forward to working with the Rotarian Club in Nairobi in Kenya. We hope soonest by next year, sometime next year, the London Political Summit team will be visiting Nairobi with the support and help of our ambassador there, Ambassador Jambo. We'll have a time with the Rotarians when we come down to Nairobi, and I wish you all the best and better years ahead. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and it's my great pleasure.
Thank you very much, Godson. And before I hand back to the disc and through our president, just to say that this year, the London Political Summit conferred the Uhuru Raila Peace Accord Award on the incoming president of Malawi, whose name is President Chakwera, for having led his country through a repeat election, a rerun election such as we had in Kenya, peacefully, and for being the first opposition leader to be elected after the rerun into the presidency, and to have held 100 days of peace in the transition to a new democratic order. Back to you, President Ritesh.
Thank you, Ambassador Dr. Josephine. I'm going to hand over to Dr. Sally Gitoho to introduce our wonderful DISC. And he will explain to us what DISC means. Dr. Sally.
Okay, I think in the interest of time, I introduce my best friend Isaac. Please tell us what DISC is. Karibu. From the Rotary Club of Muthaiga.
Thank you very much. I don't know how to refer to you. Thank you very much. I apologize, I was out of in eclipse for 2-3 minutes. I could see her call, but I wasn't sure she's calling me or missed call, just self-dialed. DISC, yeah, it's DISC. We just call it DISC. DISC is